And he's on the outside of the grid. Reese Handycocks is on the inside of the grid. He makes a better start this time. Chris Simon again away fine. Conrad Clark down the outside. So Caleb Natoa, the man from Martin, in the driving seat in the Formula First. Around the outside, takes the inside line and... whoa, contact there.
Taupo.
Two of them just clipped each other.
That's Craig Greenwood in the 22 and Alex Hawley in the number 41. McDonald's machine just getting collected there by Craig and spinning around. He's got going in. Craig stopped on the track though.
So Craig Greenwood's got a real challenge here. This is the Formula Challenge, man. It's all about going for a blat around the track here in a variety of different cars, like a V8. But at the moment, his car has been parked after clipping the wheels around that first turn. Natoa still out in front. Handycocks, Smythe. So it's all the regional boys. You've got the man from Martin. You've got a guy, young kid out of Edgecombe in Whakatane in the Bay of Plenty, and Chris Smythe from the Manawatu out of Palmerston North. Conrad Clark from Taupo. Liam Foster. Caleb Crawley. Bob Dillo. Amy Smith. It's up the top end of the track. Good little wee freight train, good racing right from the start, but of course it's all going to be very exciting in the last lap after 8.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We've got another good pack forming at the front there, another 6-car train. Caleb Natoa, Reese Handycocks, Chris Simon, Liam Foster, Conrad Clark, and it looks like Callum Crawley's joining in too.
So what's Caleb Natoa like? You're a man from Martin as well.
Caleb's a great guy. He's an exceptional driver, and he's obviously got a huge championship lead now in the series.
Contact, two of them just tangling coming out of the complex. That's why they call it complex, because it is coming off the braking zone into the turn and just tagging each other, so spinning around. A little bit tired perhaps, a little bit of fatigue setting in. Third race of the weekend. So Handycock Smith, after copping the post-race suspension, a DQ from the previous race, so he'll be fired up to drive through the field and try and get a win. Natoa, you were just saying, good driver, good skills.
Yeah, definitely. He impressed at go-karts. He's got a couple of national titles to his name. Made the step up to Formula First last year. Had a few issues with their engine. This year they've got that sorted, and he's certainly delivering the goods.
So a 70-point lead after 3 races this weekend. Well, a chance to extend that after this race, so going very well. But of course, Chris Simon, winner of the last race, just sitting back in there, and he'll be hard to beat. Especially, he knows all about the drafting. Or some of them just running a bit wide around turn 9. You can see the dust just flying up. Doing 153s at the moment. Their qualifying time was 148.6. So the track is certainly slowed up a bit. Very hot.
So Caleb down the back straight there. He's pulled out. He's opted not to take the draft, or he looks like he's already got one on Chris Simon there. The Reese Handycocks has got a little bit of a gap in front of him there. I'm sure not one that they won't be able to catch.
So coming down into the braking zone at the end of the back straight. Down through the complex. Around Devil's Corner. Pick up the leaders in the times now. 150.5. So still about a minute 30 away from their qualifying times. It shows you how much the track has certainly heated up throughout the day. It gets more sticky. Cooler in the morning. The motors are cooler too, so all the conditions are more conducive to fast times in the early part of the morning, and also when they did qualifying. So this is to be expected, but Handycocks a 150.5, 150.3 by Chris Simon in second place. Fastest man on the track, 150.9. Caleb Natoa. Conrad Clark, 150.9. In fact, your top 7 are all in the 150s. Fast time too by Amy Smith, a 150.4.
Yeah, I spoke to Amy before the race. She's her and her family there are quite happy with the progress she's made and the pace that they've seemed to have found in the car. Sorted out all their issues, and they've got their jetting set up right now, and they're ready to go.
Well, she's certainly on the pace here. Watch out for her in 55 to see if she can make her way up through the field.
She's just on the back of that top 7 group there, so no doubt she'll catch some drafts and moves up as Conrad Clark makes a move on Liam Foster at the loop there onto the back straight. Position 4.
So at the moment it's still Reese Hendy-Cox, Chris Simon, Caleb Natar, then you've got Conrad Clark, Liam Foster, Callum Crawley and Amy Smith. That's your top 7, all within sight of each other. Smythe gets the pass done, going into the end of the back straight.
Yeah, another classic Chris Simon move there, outbreaking all of his competitors, taking the lead and leading once again around Taupo.
So young Blake's not out there?
No, unfortunately his car suffered a bit too much damage, a little bit of chassis damage there, so they parked the car for the weekend and they'll fix it up ready for Taupo in early February.
Good time by Chris Simon. He's just set the fastest lap of the race so far, a 1:49.7.
It's an impressive time to set during a race. He did have the drive down the back straight there, but nonetheless a fantastic lap there from Chris.
Oh, he's got a problem. He's got a problem. We spoke too soon. Hold the phone, blocker. He's just pulled up. Either that or he's... Well, he wouldn't be missing a gear, but he's got something's gone wrong. And that's real bad luck because he was in absolute flying. And he's pulling over to the infield. So, gee, you never know, eh? You never know in motorsport when something's going to be good or something goes wrong.
Yeah, exactly. That's a real shame for Chris. He'll be gutted. He'd done a fantastic job to recover a lot of the points that he had lost in the first couple of races, and that's really gutting. Real championship changing stuff.
He's the school teacher out of Palmerston North, isn't he?
Yeah, he teaches at Lytton Street School. He's not happy there throwing his gloves. He'll be gutted.
So disappointment there for the green machine of Chris Smythe. As you can see, just walking around, threw his gloves on the ground in annoyance, and the car has just given up. So bad luck after doing a 1:49.7. So now the battle out in front, and it's going to be Caleb Natar from Martin, that currently leads the series. Chris Hendy-Cox Smith, he's been very fast this weekend. They're continuing their little battle, so they've got a nice big break on the field here. And they're going to have their own little wee private duel, 1:49.8. So the fastest lap's now been set by Caleb Natar. He's building into his work. Conrad Clark, back in third, is now involved in a 4-way scrap for a place on the podium between himself and Callum Crawley, Liam Foster and Amy Smith. She's still circulating in 1:51, 1:51.5, 1:51 for Callum Crawley, 1:51 for Conrad Clark. So they're all on the same pace. And then you got the likes of Billy Fraser, Dello, Sura Ono, Travis Day, all doing 1:52s. Cameron Dance 1:54.
Yeah, there's a nice big air gap now, like you were saying, between the first two and that fight for the podium. We've got a couple of little battle packs amongst the group there. Bob Dello, Billy Fraser, Travis Day, Nathan Sudiono, Cameron Dance and Dave Scammell, by the looks of it, all out there battling, and that's the beauty of From the First, is battles wherever you look.
So I tell you what, Caleb Natar will be keen to get a win here because he hasn't had a win so far this weekend. Reese Hendy-Cox has had a win, Chris Simon's had a win, but Natar has extended his lead in the championship because of his consistency and his skill and always being in contention for a win. But here he's currently in a good 2-way scrap with Hendy-Cox as they come down the straight, 4 laps out of 8. So this is going to be another one of those chopping and changing leads until you get right down to the last flying lap like Chris Simon did last time. Both of these guys had a chance to win, and then Chris Simon sized them up at the end of the back straight. So they'll be lining each other up. Chris Hendy-Cox will be playing the patient game. If he's smart, he should just sit there. When would you do it? 1 lap to go?
Ideally, you want to be positioning yourself.
You don't want to leave it to the last lap.
No, you want to be positioning yourself round about now, figuring out where the driver in front of you, where their strengths are, where their weaknesses are, where you can pass them, if you can get a gap on them. Otherwise, you wait until the back straight on the last lap, get a good draft if you've sized it up well enough, and outbrake them and take the win.
Yeah, so that's the smart way to do it. But you've got to make sure you do it.
Exactly.
Execution, that's the plan. The execution has to be spot on. And, of course, what you do want to do is actually what Hendy Cox Smith is doing right now, well, Reese Hendy Cox, is just keep right behind him so that you're putting the pressure on. And you may be able to force the guy to go wide or force a mistake.
Yeah, that's exactly what Reese will be doing there. He'll be just lining up, seeing where Caleb's weak, trying to put the pressure on, make himself known in Caleb's mirrors, and try to throw him off to get the move done before a draft.
So he's having a look around the outside. He's going to go really big around the outside. This is a bold move. Now he's going to try and duck down and get the crisscross because he's gone too late, too wide. Very difficult to pass out there.
It was just a wee bit hot there. He ran wide. He couldn't quite gather it up to make the apex. Caleb Nato is now back in front. Got a wee bit of an air gap. It looks like Reese is going to draft him now as he adjusts his mirror. So
Caleb just has to be cool. You can see him. He's keeping an eye on the mirror, eye on the braking zone. And still got a nice handy lead as they almost slide through there, don't they? It's almost like a gliding sort of grip type sort of, just let the car go through as you're braking and then bang, through Devil's Corner.
Yeah, speaking of sliding, there was a nice slide there into the home straight by Callum Crawley.
So we've had 6 laps. This will be a key lap here because now Hendy Cox is right behind Caleb Nato. So how old is Caleb? 15?
Caleb's 16 now. He's
16.
Recently turned 16.
16-year-old from Martin who currently leads the series as a 70-point lead. So being cool, calm, and Caleb.
Exactly. He'll be extending that by another couple of points again this race if things stay the way they are. As long as he finishes in front of Callum Crawley, I'm sure he'll be happy. So
here comes Hendy Cox, though. He's right behind, going into turn 7 through the hairpin. Race 3, Formula First, the IQ components. Formula First Championship. It's the 3rd round of the series so far after a round in Taupo and Manfield. The other good thing about both of these drivers, they're both part of the Elite Motorsport Academy graduates, where they learn all about more than just motor racing, what you do on the track, what you do to fuel your body, dealing with the media, all those sort of skills. So it's a fantastic initiative by Motorsport New Zealand. Helps groom the kids for their professional career, hopefully in motorsport. And you see of so many young kids around the country at the moment, overseas, who are doing so well. It's fantastic they get the opportunity. And they're repaying it here with good driving skills. So it's Caleb Nato, Hendy Cox. Should be last lap coming around now. So it'll be lap 7 of 8. So now the gamesmanship is on. So Hendy Cox, is he playing the waiting game? If he's going to make a move, it's got to be this lap, and it's going to be at the end of that big log back straight. Or will he try and sneak it beforehand? If Caleb Nato just doesn't quite manage to hold it in.
Yeah, Reese will be, he'll know now where Caleb's weak and where he's strong, where he can position the car to potentially make a move before that draft down the back straight.
Callum Crawley is actually closing in on 3rd place. He's got past Conrad Clark now. So Clark's back to 4th. Amy Smith's got up to the top 5, got past Liam Foster. So that's good skills, and she's back into that pace of 1 minute 50.7. So it's almost 3 now. They've been slowed up, so suddenly 2's become 3, and Crawley is going to become a bit of a complication here.
He's certainly jumped right onto the back of that pack there, and it's just going to make for an exciting battle into the chase.
So here we go. This is going to be the key part. A bit of fun coming up here as they line themselves up onto the back straight, but it's the entrance going into this corner which is going to be absolutely
I think Caleb Nato's
vital.
got a problem there. Caleb Nato has dropped all the way back to 4th. It's not likely he must have made a mistake. He's off! He's lost steering.
Oh, he's steering.
It's both of his steering arms that look broken there.
Well, just when you said you never know what's going to happen in the big job, and ever since we said that, everything's just been going spastic. Everything's just been going crazy. And Crawley's got up.
There, Crawley's in the lead now. Conrad Clark in 2nd. Reese Hendercock's out on the grass almost, down the back straight.
So suddenly, a 2-way battle's... Oh, they've touched! Crawley's come through! Oh, they're spinning through! Hendy Cox has come through. Conrad Clark and Amy Smith there. So all 3 basically have been finished out, and Hendy Cox raises his fist, takes the win. But it all happened in the last couple of corners. First, Caleb Natoa off at the end of the big back straight, or the going into the start of the back straight. Obviously lost steering, and just, he was a passion. You could see it just sliding on the grass.
Yeah, we may have had some contact.
So we'll just go and look and see what happened there. And of course then Crawley got a chance to actually get into that position and put the pressure. So if you look down over here on the right hand side, he's obviously got an issue there. And
It's already broken at that point, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like on the right hand side, that right wheel looked like the front suspension, something's given there, because he had absolutely no control.